Hello. So I'm joined here today by Ujjwal Sharma, who is one of the co-chairs of TC39 and has given a talk here today on how TC39 works for the audience here at Future Frontend. Ujjwal, would you like to introduce yourself and say a few more things about what you do?
Sure. Hi, and hello everyone. I'm Ujjwal. I work on TC39, on JavaScript standards and web standards in general. I work at Igalia, which is a fun open source consultancy, and we're based out of A Coruña in Spain, which is a fun city. I would recommend you to check them out. I love JavaScript, and I'm so excited to meet all the people here in Helsinki.
Oh, that's great. So you said you work for Igalia. That may be a name that our audience are not too familiar with. Could you say a bit more about what Igalia does?
Yes. So, yeah, Igalia is a pretty niche organization. I guess I can say that. There's around over 150 of us at the moment. We're all over the world. And what Igalia does is we specialize working on core open source technologies, sometimes very low level open source technologies. So this can be all over the stack. I mean, on the one hand, we're working with Valve to build like graphics drivers and Vulkan specifications, and on the other hand, we are also building JavaScript engines and sort of standardizing that. So there's a lot of diverse things that various individuals in Igalia do, and the thing that sort of binds us together is our love and respect for each other and for open source. And yeah.
That's awesome. Obviously you're here you've been here for the TC39 meeting this week. Would you like to tell us about the highlights of that meeting, about what kind of things may have advanced?
So this was, one of the better TC39 meetings that I've had in all ways, but also in terms of technical stuff. But yeah, we advanced some pretty important things. I think one that I was quite excited about was import differ, which, as you know, a pretty significant proposal in my opinion, in that it has opened our minds and our hearts in some way to being more clever with modules. I think ES modules have been one of the more complex things that we have done in the past. We still have the responsibility of making sure that it gets to the end users who might not still be shipping ES modules at the moment, at least. And yeah, I mean, we tend to be conservative with features, but over the next sort of years, I believe people will see ES modules gain some pretty interesting use cases and gain power and functionality that would make their use more practical.
Okay, that's great. And in addition to your talk here today, you also joined the panel. How did you find the questions from the audience here in Helsinki?
Yeah, the questions from the audience were quite nice, and sort of it was great to have that particular arrangement where we had the intro talk and then we had two pretty significant hardcore deep dive talks into specific areas, and then we had the panel. So we really set up the stage quite well, and it really showed in the questions. Many of the questions were directly inspired by the content of the talks, and yeah, I'm really impressed by the sort of practicality of all the questions, and it was quite nice.
Great. And just thinking about the Future Frontend conference overall, how would you describe the vibe here today?
I think, yeah, I was just discussing this earlier with one of our friends who happens to be an organizer, which is that it's one of the most innovative events in many ways that I've seen. I think JavaScript and web technologies in general have grown to the extent where we're not only in the business of building technologies and building modules and so on, writing code, but literally charting out the future. So we talked about temporal, for example, where we did pretty future-y things. So it's very exciting to see that, like, not only is this conference very deeply invested in the web, but the future of the web and how our work ties into that, how others' work ties into that. It's quite interesting and refreshing. I think this is not something that I've seen elsewhere. So yeah, I really enjoy this conference.
All right. Well, thank you, Ujjwal.
And thank you all.